By embracing innovative project management platforms, investors can navigate complexities with ease, ensuring smoother operations and greater profitability. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Adventures of a Real Estate Investor podcast. I'm your host, Michael.
And I'm Susie, and we're excited you're here with us today.
Absolutely. So, welcome to episode 122. 122, yep. Which is actually season 3, episode 5. So if you're just tuning in, season 3 is all about focusing on asset management with a couple interviews sprinkled in here and there. But it's just really sharing our journey as asset managers, as operators, to provide you with information to kind of peel back the curtain and show you how we operate. So today's episode is going to be an awesome episode. We're going to be talking about project management software platforms and what this has really done for us in our asset management journey.
Yeah, I mean, when we initially started, I don't think we realized how lost we were going to get in email and how quickly we needed to use a project management software. I think something that isn't really talked about often, just when you're learning about real estate investing, as a limited partner or as a general partner, is what is the relationship with your property manager and what should you expect or not expect from them with them, right? Because some of these property management companies have been in business for 20 plus years, but some also, don't really love change. And so they just need a little push to implement all the new things to just be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get into that in a little bit here for sure and talk about specifically our journey with a project management software tool that we use across all of our properties and that our manager now, our third-party property management company uses.
Yeah.
So just to highlight the importance of a project management software tool and what it does specifically. So let me back up a little bit. A multifamily property or any kind of property is a business. Real estate investing is a business, right?
Doesn't matter if it's 1 door, 100 doors.
Exactly, right? So you have a business plan that goes along with that. In order to execute and carry out the business plan, you need a plan and you need to execute that plan. And project management software tools help you execute that plan more organized. Exactly. So there are many different project management tools out there. The one that Susie and I have been using now for over 4 years, I guess, is Asana. I really like Asana just because of the collaboration and in the way that's kind of laid out. There's other ones out there as well, such as monday.com, Trello, some other ones like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, do some research. You can find plenty out there, some that are free, some that are paid, right? Just kind of figure out what's best for you in your specific situations. So as Susie kind of mentioned, when you're dealing with email all the time and you're trying to manage a project via email, how difficult is it to search emails, right? Yes, now with generative AI and new AI tools that are coming out, it's getting easier and easier to search emails, but it is very, very cumbersome, very, very difficult to search hundreds of emails, right? So for example, to close an asset, right? Just thinking back, or close with a agency debt on a property, you're looking at probably about 500 emails from the time you go under contract to the right. So if that's just what it takes in order to close a deal, can you imagine how many emails it's going to take to operate that deal, especially when you're dealing with your property management CEO, with your asset manager, which Susie and I are asset managers, and then also you're dealing with vendors, your on-site manager, regional manager, all those people, right? And you're emailing them all different things, and your maintenance personnel that are on site as well.
Yeah, and I mean, even when I'm thinking about it, right? How many times have you been in a conversation via email and it's about one topic, and either you or the other person is I'm already in a thread with them. I'm just going to add this other thing in. Now your subject in the core of the email is about a topic, but maybe you guys came to a resolution about a completely different topic, also in that same email thread, right? So it's not even something you'd be looking for. And maybe this hasn't happened to you, and I am so very happy for you. But I mean, it's happened to us often, and just sometimes you have so many emails going out one time, it could even just happen on accident.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with Asana, what we're able to do in there is create different tasks, and I'll pull up and share my screen here shortly, but we have different tasks, and in those specific tasks, we can add people or assign people to them. But we have everybody who's part of this property, specifically all the general partners, if they want to be. It's typically just the asset managers, Susie and I, and then we'll have accountant, right? An accountant's tied into their CEO, the property management company. She just likes to oversee kind of everything that's going on the property. properties. You have the regional manager, the on-site manager, you have the foreman, maintenance foreman as well tied in there. So you can manage a task. So let's say, for example, you have some lender required repairs and you need to get, the sidewalks shaved down or something like that, right? You can say sidewalks and as your task, right? And then everybody in there can be chatting on that one thread about like, okay, here are the bids that we have. And you put all the bids tied to that specific task. And then you can chat about it and at people, right? You can say, hey, regional manager, can you get us another bid here? I don't like this bid. Or, hey, let's use these specific vendors to get us bids. And then from there, you can assign it to a specific person, right? And then you can put the due date in there. You can put the vendor, who you ended up choosing to go with, right? That cost, who it was approved by, who it was inspected by, how you're going to allocate the pay. Is it coming from cash flow from operations? Is it coming from CapEx funds? Is the owner going to send funds for that specific project?
I mean, I think a big thing too for us is like a lot of before and after photos, right? So that we can see that the work's been complete if Michael and I like haven't made it in the timeline where the project has been completed. And I mean, that's huge too, just because you now have photos for investors who ask any questions for the investor reports, especially for the lenders, right? So, I mean, same thing. It's all just in one spot, in one pocket. That really makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Now, let me just see if I can share my screen here. So if you're tuning in on the podcast via audio, if you want to go over to the Adventures of a Real Estate Investor YouTube channel, you can see I'm basically just pulling up one example here of our property called Townhomes at East 32nd. This is a new acquisition for us. And so we have plenty of tasks already laid out in here. So we built out this task sheet, basically this whole project sheet, basically, as we're kind of leading to closing, right? We can put all the CapEx things we want to take care of in there. We can also put in things that need to be taken care of before closing. As we're approaching closing as well. So we have recurring items. So things that pop up on a recurring basis, such as updating weekly KPIs. And we also have our on-site manager put in delinquency and rent roll in here.
Yeah, and even for that one, like that's just a big one for not like just us to know, but like the manager then has a pulse of what the delinquency is and what the occupancy is. But knowing that we know it also makes a big difference, right? Because they're like, oh man, I didn't get the amount of leases I wanted to this week, or I needed to collect more. It just holds a lot of accountability as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll dive into those specific reports that we look at on a continuous basis in another episode for sure, and really do a deep dive into those. But yeah, we have, quarterly preventative maintenance, things like that in here, so they can upload those reports there, which quarterly preventative maintenance is going to be another episode coming up here shortly as well. And then, for example, we have lender required repairs, right? Like we had a parking lot, sidewalks, playground, things like that we needed to take care of. So those items are in here as well. And I won't, go over every specific item here, but yeah, we have interior improvements, exterior improvements, and then miscellaneous things as well in here. So, and we also have community events. So we like to do community events every single month, and those will be listed in here as well.
I think the coolest part too is the organization in there, right? Like Michael mentioned interior improvements versus exterior. And with that, you can clearly find the projects in their correct spot. So you can just find them easily. As we were mentioning before, going through your email and just trying to make sure you even find the right email thread for the project just felt like it was taking a lot of time. And so it's nice that you can have everything in one spot. People can update it from their phone. People can update it on their computer. There is very user friendly in our opinion. We've also used it quite a bit, but once you get used to it, we do believe that it's very user friendly for everyone.
Absolutely. Here, I just pulled up a task here was called rebranding website and signage, right? So I started this task before we closed, and I was kind of updating some stuff that we need to pull in for the website, such as floor plans, property layout, additional floor plans here. And then we're all chatting in this thread basically about all of the things for the rebranding and everything like that. And so everything's kind of just in this thread, which is really, really nice. So, and then we have an archive of it. Once the task is complete, we have an archive of everything. So we can always go back and say, okay, how much did this cost us and things like that. Or if we decide, hey, let's upload all these invoices in here, not invoices, estimates for some repairs that we want to get done. Well, maybe we don't have the CapEx funds to get it done now. We can get it done later, right? Now I don't have to get digging through my email to say, man, how much was it to get that fence repaired? Now we can go, oh, fence repair in this task line item here, and then take a look at it and decide if we want to move forward. But I'll stop sharing my screen now now, and we'll chat more about Asana.
I think like a big thing for you and like just as an LP, right? Like really figure out like the GP team's organizational structure, because you want to know that a big part of their time is actually asset managing, right? Like knowing how they are organized makes a really big difference. Or if they have somebody on the team that is, that's totally okay too. Like understand like the need that you need as a limited partner, or understand the need that you need as a general partner, right? Like, are you feeling like you're wasting a lot of time in email? Are you feeling like things could be a little more organized, right? Like even as far as like, hey, me and my property manager, like I wish we communicated more. This is like a great way to communicate more. This is a great way to get updates without having to be on your cell phone calling or emailing or texting, anything above. So really like think about like what the need is in your business and how like project management software can help you with that need.
Absolutely. Yeah. Another great thing about this too is that, they can request funds through here and stuff like that, and I can send those. But also the important thing is here, like, yes, we still use texting and calling and emails for some things, right? But what we ended up doing is taking all that information from those other sources and then putting it back into Asana as well. I would say 90% of communication occurs through Asana. And the great thing about it too is has an app for our phone, and we control notifications. And then if, when our regional or on-site manager posts something, hey, we had a water main break or something, and then it pops up on my phone, I can say, okay, hey, let's get this taken care of and take action on it immediately, right? They don't have to send me an email. Maybe I'm not checking my email all the time, right? That day specifically, but I can be we communicate with a property manager on a daily basis, or sometimes even on an hourly basis through Asana. So it's very, very powerful. And then record tracking as well. When we approve things, I make sure that it's stated in Asana that it's approved, right? So when you go back, you're like, who approved this, right? And it'll be either myself or Susie or somebody else, right? It's emergency repair that needed to be done. It was approved by whoever made the comment, right? So that's always really nice to see as well.
100%.
Yeah. So this just makes everything very, very streamlined, very, very efficient. We can move quicker. We can execute our business plan a lot faster as well. And actually, what's really cool is like we introduced this to our property management company on our property specifically, and then we showed the CEO of a management company this tool that we're using, and she actually ended up implementing it across all the properties, which is really cool. So Susie was mentioning earlier, like a lot of these property management companies are kind of stuck in doing things that are really good for what's working for them specifically, and not really diving into new tech and stuff like that. Because number one, sometimes they don't have the time or they don't have the ability to really understand it and use these resources. And so I'm glad we're able to take some of this technology to our property management company to make them more efficient as well across all of because it then just lowers overhead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, like we're all in different phases, like in our business, right? So like I was using Asana like in my W-2 career, and so was Michael, and it just seemed something very easy to bring in, right? Where the CEO of the property management company that we use, like that, this is what she'd been doing for her business, right? Like nobody was bringing in something new like that, and she wasn't exposed to it. So it's even just like what we're exposed to in all the parts of our lives.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's also other things that it does is, it enhances accountability. And as far as like when you assign something to somebody and then you assign a date to that, like, hey, you have to get this done by that specific date, right? And they get notifications about it too, which is cool. Instead of having like, hey, via email, you're saying like, hey, so-and-so, I want you to get this done by, Monday the 18th or whatever. Instead, you can set a reminder in Asana where it can tell them as well, and it holds everybody accountable, which is really nice. Yeah. All right. I think that pretty much wraps up our discussion about project management tools and Asana. I hope you found value in this, and I hope you're able to see the power that a project management tool can bring to asset management and to multifamily investing or real estate investing in general, right? So, but before we end the show, we have a fun segment called, if you remember, it's called Multifamily Myth Busters. And today's myth is?
Project management software is only beneficial for large multifamily complexes.
Isn't that true?
No.
Why not?
It's amazing for everyone. Like, contrary to popular belief, project management software isn't just for big ones. And by big ones, I mean like 100 plus. It can work like for, one single family home. Like, yes, it's true that for larger properties with like more complex needs, project management software has like significant benefits. Okay. It really, really does. But even smaller multifamily, or like I said, like one single family home can greatly benefit from utilizing the project management software. I mean, like you can just take away that sticky note, right? Unless you're a sticky note person, that totally works too. But like sometimes there's so many things going on, even if it's 5, like if it's just in one spot for you to go back to over and over and over again, instead of finding that sticky note. Or even a great example, right, is that you write in a notebook and you can't find the page where you wrote the notes on. Like Asana or any project management software tool is great for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to give a couple examples here of like why this will work for like a single family home as well. So if you're a single family homeowner and you rent out to one resident, right? Like you still need to keep track of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe you put in there all the deferred maintenance that you want to get taken care of. Maybe you put in there, hey, recurring maintenance, such as cleaning the gutters or checking everything's sealed properly, everything's painted properly to prevent water intrusion, things like that. And then maybe you have the residents moving out soon, you have a turn coming up, right? List all the things you need to take care of, carpet, painting, things like that. You can list all that in Asana, right? And then you can make sure it's taken care of, right?
Yeah, it makes a big, big difference. And I mean, just to like do kind of like a recap of like why it makes such a big difference, right? It's like the efficiency gains, like you save a lot of time and you save a lot of resources, the improved decision making. So you're just utilizing the real-time data that is in Asana and then all the analytics that's in it too, just to make better informed choices because everything's right there. You don't need to search in all the other places to find it. And then last but not least, like what Michael hit on was enhanced accountability, right? So like you can track progress and performance metrics better. Like
Absolutely.
It's just so much better.
So I encourage you to look through various different project management software tools and find the one that fits you best and that you enjoy working with the most, right? Everybody has their own preferences for sure. So with that, I'd like to end the segment by saying, in the dynamic world of real estate investing, successful asset management hinges on effective project management. By embracing innovative project management platforms, investors can navigate complexities with ease, ensuring smoother operations and greater profitability.
Sounds like a win-win.
Absolutely.
Until next time,
Explore more.
adventure waits. Woo!